but pride in singularity. Oh, never mind if men are wrong, so long as they agree. Come, you're a man, no passive stone. Stand up and call your soul your own. Go on alone, go on alone. Banish weakness, go on alone. Go on alone, go on alone. Don't look back, just go on alone. Claim the power within you, ever to defy. The world may change or disappear, but truth can never die. Come, you're a man, no passive stone. Stand up and call your soul your own. Go on alone, go on alone. Banish weakness, go on alone. Go on alone, go on alone. Don't look back, just go on alone.
This week is entitled Dogmatism versus Common Sense. Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneness with it in your deathless self within. The following commentary is based on the teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda. In the Gospel of St. Matthew, chapter 7, Jesus warns, "Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. You shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Even so, good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupted tree bringeth forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Wherefore by their fruits ye shall know them." Jesus here, as indeed many times during his teachings, counsels people to use their God-given common sense and not to rely on high-flown but undemonstrable claims. Common sense goes beyond abstract reason, for it is rooted in actual experience. Even common sense, however, is deficient when the judgment called for goes beyond sensory experience. Ultimately, what he emphasized always, therefore, was intuitive perception. Thus he expected more of his disciples than crude common sense, and often scolded them for being too literal-minded, as he did elsewhere when they thought his statement, "I have meat to eat that you know not of," meant that he had steaks or sandwiches secreted about his person. His reference, of course, was to spiritual, not material substance. Words, even though appearing in the scriptures, are no substitute for direct perception of truth. Therefore, the Bhagavad Gita in the 2nd chapter, "The sage who knows God has little need for the scriptures as one might have for a pond when the whole land is covered in flood. Thus, through Holy Scripture, man has spoken to mankind." Om, Om, Om.
And this is a reading from Whispers from Eternity by Paramahansa Yogananda. This reading is called, "I bring to thee the mirror of devotion. With folded hands, bowed head, and heart laden with the mirror of reverence, I come to thee. Thou art my parents, I am thy child. Thou art the master. I am ready to obey the silent command of thy voice. I conjured the fragrant devotion of all hearts and mixed it with my tears. Now I am eager to wash thy feet in silence. A river of my ardent crystal tears of craving rushes forth to meet thee. Wilt thou see that my boisterous flood of devotion be not lost in the desert of disappointment? Wilt thou see that my mad flood of devotion follow always the right course which leads to thee? Good morning, everyone. It's a joy for us to be back here in LA. We just recently finished a seclusion, which is something that we try to do at least once a year, sometimes twice a year if we can fit it in. And it's hard to pull away, but it's the most important thing that we do, is to spend some time alone with God in silence. And we were in seclusion for a week. It was so beautiful. We were in this, we stayed in the same house, and we were in silence. We had long meditations. We read spiritual books. We listened to beautiful tapes of talks in Master's voice, listened to the beautiful music of the Joy Singers, I must say. That was very inspiring. And we went very deep this time. And it was funny that we should, I think that we have just been so in need of it that our souls were craving that silence. And we went very deep for the first 5 days. But during that seclusion, it was my birthday. My birthday was on Thursday. Well, we had decided that in silence we would go to the beach on my birthday and just meditate on the beach. So Wednesday morning, I woke up and I thought, it's my birthday. And it wasn't my birthday, but I woke up and I knew it was my birthday. Tells you how good my intuition is. I just knew it was my birthday, and I felt such joy. Birthdays have always been something special for me because I just have always, it's been a very lovely time where friends share their blessings with you, and it's just lovely. I just love my birthday. I know that maybe I'm attached, but. So I woke up Wednesday, and I went in, and I had our meditation together, and I sat on the couch, and I just stared at Hari Das. This was Wednesday. And he kind of looked at me and thought, what is wrong with her? And I just stared at him, and I thought, he forgot my birthday. There's no flowers, there's no card, we're not going anywhere. He forgot my birthday. And so I just mouthed it. I said, it's my birthday, because we were still in silence. And he walked over to the calendar. He didn't say a word. He pointed at the date. He said, it's not your birthday. You know, your birthday's tomorrow. So, and golly, I was so disappointed. I had to do it all again on Thursday. But I thought about that. I thought, how could that happen? How could I not know what day it was? And I was thinking about it, and I thought, well, because I was so totally immersed in what we were doing. There was no clock, no computer, no phone, no newspaper, no conversation, nothing. And I completely lost touch with the outer world. And I thought, that's wonderful. That is really a wonderful gift. And so Thursday, yes, we did go to the beach, but, I thought, this is what our life is about. And the only way we can really achieve it with this busy, busy life that we find ourselves in is to pull away consciously with willpower and affirm that I will be in silence. I am going to be with God today. We can do it for an hour a day. We can do it for 1 day a week. We could do it for a week. We could do it for longer. But it's the most important thing that we can do because we get in touch with who we are and what our reason for living on this earth is. You know, we're able to ask the questions then. Why am I here? What is my dharma? What is the purpose of my life? What is the gift that I have to offer this world? What does it mean to be in tune with you, Master? Do I really feel your love? All these questions that are always in the back of our mind, but we never take the time to listen to that answer that is there. It's there. And how can it be there and we have not heard it yet? We are in a state of perfection right now. Our superconscious self is waiting for us to tap in. And we have just lowered our expectations of what we think this life is supposed to be. We've just lowered our expectations. We've got to get up, we've got to go to work, we've got to follow what other people have said we're supposed to do. We have to make everybody else happy, but how can we make anybody happy if ourselves aren't happy? If we ourselves are not happy? So when you go into the silence, it's so beautiful. And if you can't even take an hour, you can meditate every day when you wake up. The most beautiful time to meditate is very, very early in the morning, right before all of the busyness. And it's just, they say, you know, that saying, the darkness right before the dawn, you know, the dawn. It's just right there. The sun hasn't risen yet, and you're just right there, and you're meditating. And you have the sense that after you practice, and you do your Kriya, and you do your techniques, that God's listening, and you have the sense that you're going to get an answer. And it's true, you do. Very in the beginning of the day, when everything is still, you'll get your answer. And we all have questions, and we all want to know who we are, and we all want more love in our life. But to take this time and really look at your life and see where you can fit these moments of seclusion in, I recommend it. We've already planned our next seclusion. One of the things I did in seclusion was I listened to the autobiography of a yogi as spoken by Kriyananda, certain chapters. So inspiring. And it's the reason why it's so inspiring is you read the book of autobiography of a yogi, just visually, and Master said, I put my vibrations in that book. And so you feel that. Just reading the book can change your life. But when you listen to a disciple such as Swamiji verbalize these truths, verbalize these amazing words of the Master with so much love and so much attunement, it changes your consciousness. And you think, I want to be like that. Where did all that love come from? And this love of the disciple for his guru, you feel that. It takes you to a whole different place. And so one of the chapters I read was chapter 37, and that is one of my favorite chapters, and that chapter is I Go to America. I love that chapter. I Go to America. It's Yogananda telling the story of coming to America. And it's so beautiful because think of what he went through to come to America. He was going to be in a vast sea of unknowing. He didn't know. He did not know what was going to happen. Of course, he's a master and he did, but in the play, he didn't know. And even he had to break away from his family. He went to his father. His father cried and said, I don't think I'll ever see you again. This is really, really sad. How can you leave me? And then Yogananda said, well, I do need some money for the trip. Typical son and father conversation. I do need some money. And the father said, no, I can't give this to you. You're doing a crazy thing. I'm not going to give you this money. Well, of course, the next day, then he did give him the money. And he said, I'm not doing this as a father to a son. I'm doing this as a disciple of Lahiri Mahashaya, as his disciple. I'm doing that because he's told me to. And so Yogananda goes, and he's meditating in his room before he comes to America. He's at home a couple days before he leaves. And he prays, and he prays, and he prays, and he prays, and he wants an answer. Is this what you want me to do? Am I really right? Is my intuition really right on? Is this what you want me to do? You want me to go to America? I don't even know what I'm supposed to do there. And he just prayed until he said his head was splitting. He wanted an answer. He would not give up until he got that answer. And then, after hours of praying and beseeching God for an answer to his question, opened the door. The door opens, and who walks in but Babaji? Babaji, the great avatar. And he consoled him, and he said, yes, you're going to go. And he said, you are the one I've chosen. I've chosen you. You are going. And this is the first time that Yogananda ever met Babaji. And he wrote about it in the book, and it was the first time he ever written about it in the book. So Babaji told him yes. And then the next day, Sri Yukteswar said, you will have hundreds of friends. You will just take America by storm. Go with our blessings. So he goes, and he gets on the boat, and he doesn't know English, and they ask him to do a talk, and he stands there for 10 minutes waiting for God to come through so he can give this talk in English. And he said to Sri Yukteswar, after 10 minutes of no words coming through, help me. These people are laughing at me. I'm supposed to be giving a talk in the battle of life. And Sri Yukteswar said very loudly, speak, you can. And he did. And this is the result of his perfect attunement to his guru. So he spoke. And then he comes to America, and he doesn't know one single person. Not one single person. He doesn't know what he's going to do in America. He goes to the YWCA. I mean, just think of yourself in his position. The story is really amazing. And why is he doing this? For the love of his guru. Because his guru asked him to. No questions, he just does it. And he's in America. And look at the results. In the beginning, he had no idea how it all was going to happen. But now, after years of traveling and teaching and initiating people, he initiated 100,000 people into Korea. That's astounding. That's astounding. And look what's come of it. And when I think of it, he's come for us. He's come for us. That's why Master came. He came to America for us. He said he saw all of us in a vision, and then here we all are. And so I think it's really good to meditate on what we're doing with our lives and how to get in touch with what we're supposed to do with our lives and let the fear go. Because when we're starting out a new venture for God, even when we just get onto the spiritual path, it's scary because there's not a lot of support in the world. Even Yogananda's father said, you're crazy, I'm not going to give you any money. Our families aren't going to say, oh, I'm so happy that you're a disciple of Paramahansa Yogananda at last. I've been dreaming about this for you. Thank you. I can't wait to tell the family. It's not going to happen. And your boss isn't going to say, I am so glad you're moving to Ananda and leaving your job and your career. Now I have to feel, I'm so happy. No one's going to support you. That world out there wants to keep us down, wants to keep us in its throes. But if you're in tune with your guru, he will show you the way. There's no doubt at all. There's no doubt. The guru will show the way. And so that intuition, that still small voice in your heart that's yearning for you to listen and finally make that connection. And what is that still small voice? It's your own self. Come on, you can do it. Let's find God together. Don't you want more joy? Don't you want more love? Don't you want to forgive those who have hurt you? Don't you want to be more creative? Come on, you can do it. Who is that? What is that voice? It's always in the back of our mind. What should we do next? What should we do next? It's our own selves. It's our superconscious self coming through. And how to get in touch with that is to meditate and get in touch with the guru, and the guru will guide you every step of the way. Look at Swamiji. He was just in Delhi, Swami Kriyananda, the most beautiful talk. And there he is in Delhi after all these years. He's 86 years old this year, all these years. And he is speaking in Delhi at the, I think it's called the Tivoli Gardens, and 1,500 people are there to see him. But when you see Swami in this video, and I encourage you all to see it, it's on the website, he's just an angel. His face is the face of an angel. There is no angst, there is no ego. There's only love. There's only bliss. There's only joy, understanding, compassion. All of the things our souls crave were shining in Swami's face on that video. He didn't have to say a word because his face was the gospel. His face was the teaching. And that is a life that has been lived as a disciple of Master so many years, and God did not spare him from suffering. He did not just arrive with that face. He went through terrible tests, and always he came right back to the point where he thought he had lost it all. Everything was gone, his reputation, his family, the money, he didn't even know where to go when he left SRF. He didn't have a job, he didn't have a resume, he didn't have anything. But he trusted his guru, and he just went step by step by step by step. And look at him now, speaking all these years later, 1,500 people. It's amazing what he's done with his life. But he didn't do it for himself, and that's why he can have the face that he has. He did it for us. That's why Master can have the face that he has. His awake consciousness, his absolute purity of heart. He's living for others. He's doing it for other people. He's not doing it for his own grandiosement. He's doing it for other people. He has a heart full of compassion, full of understanding of where we all are and where we want to go. And so Swamiji has shown us, when you think it's the worst, when you think it's all not working, and we've all been there, and when you think that nobody understands, and when you think you have no place to turn, and when you think the money's gone and you can't get a job, and when you think all of these things come into our lives, you go inside and you ask Divine Mother, what do you want me to do? And listen for her answer. She will give you a response that will be nothing that you ever thought of, but it will be supported by spirit, and it will be supported by love, and it will be supported by others who are on that same wavelength. And all of a sudden, just like when Master came to America, didn't know a single soul, he had millions of people, friends all over the world, supporting his work. Look what we're doing now, long after he's even left the planet. How can that be? Because of our attunement and his attunement to God, because of a life lived for God. The more you live for God, the more you trust. And you don't even have to hope anymore, because you know. That, you just know it's going to work. One of the things Swami said in his talk, it was so beautiful. He said it with such vigor and such feeling. He said, Divine Mother has never let me down. Never. Divine Mother has never let me down. He was giving a talk to Indians and talking about Dharma, how, people fudge, they just, cheat on their taxes or bribe people or do things just to get by. He was saying, no, don't live like that. You live for God, and you live for truth, and even if it's hard, God will never let you down, ever. And there's the proof in his face and in his vibration. It's so true. In the beginning, when everything's dark, that's when the light starts coming. It's like you have to give your whole self up, and you just have to say, I've been doing it my way, and it's not working. Now I want to do it your way. I remember Diana, when she went to, she told me that when she went to Italy, there was a group of disciples there, and they were going to start this work in Italy. America was pretty settled, and then they were going to start this work in Italy, and Swami went with them, and then they took Swami to the airport, and Diana said, well, what do we do? There was just this little group of people, little disciples in Italy, foreign country, didn't know the language. It was pretty bleak. No money. And he said, meditate and ask Divine Mother. And that's what they did, and look what they have. It's so beautiful in Italy. It's so beautiful. I remember when we were in India for 5 years, going on 6 years. And in the beginning, not too many people came to Sunday service. We had a Saturday satsang, and not the Sunday service, but the Saturday satsang. And so in the beginning, he'd be on the road, everybody'd be gone. There would just be Diana and myself in the temple. And it was on the schedule, Saturday satsang. So we switched off. I did one Saturday, she would do the other. And many times I would be up there saying the prayer, nobody in the audience but Diana looking very enthusiastic. And then we would sit down to chant, and then Diana would be chanting with me, and then I'd open my eyes. Well, there wouldn't be anybody there except Diana, really chanting really loud and doing the kirtals, and then I would give my talk, and there would be Diana. So enthusiastic and encouraging and smiling. And then we would switch, and it would be me sitting in the chair, and there would be Deanna. And I would give her all my best. And golly, but there was so much joy in that. Then the Indians started coming on Saturday to service. It was a new concept for them, the Sunday service thing. So they started coming, and of course now the work is flourishing there. But in the beginning, hardly you could tell. You just couldn't tell. How could you know? But what did we have? We had the joy of our hearts, and we had the innocence and the trust to understand that we were there only because we wanted to please our guru. That was it. We were there only because we were living for God. God must know what he's doing. He must know. We didn't know, but he knew. And now, 1,500 people Swami's talking to in Delhi. Just a few short years. And those are the same people, hundreds of people helping to put the program on. It's such a wonderful story. Ananda is a wonderful story because people used to come to us. We did the training program where we would train people to live at the village in the spiritual life. They would come to us for a couple months, for a year, then it was 6 months, then it was 2 months, then it was 1 month. It's because people just couldn't get away. But they would come to me and they would say, well, tell me about the government of Ananda. What are the finances? How do the finances work at Ananda? What about housing? Where's my house going to be? What about the school? And I would just look at them and I would say, I don't know. Come and ask me at the end of the month. Ask me at the end of 2 months or 6 months, because I didn't know. And then they would come to me and they would ask those questions and they would say, I understand. There's no form at Ananda. It's a very loose-knit society, which is so beautiful because it's a Dwapara Yuga community. It's the age of energy. It's not top-down organizational corporation. Those institutions and structures are crumbling. Look around you. This is a community run on intuition. This is a community run on the basis of each individual soul taking the responsibility for finding God themselves. It's so beautiful. And everyone supporting one another in that search for God. That's what Ananda is. And so you can look at the leadership and say, oh, they're doing this and they're so wrong. What are you doing? It always comes right back to you. This is not working. It must be their fault. Oh, no. What's not working in our lives, it's inside of us. It goes right back to you. And people just mirror that. But how can you even say it? Because when each individual soul is striving to find God on their own and really taking responsibility for their lives and really doing what the Guru said to do, it's a beautiful harmony that happens. It's a beautiful dance. It's like an orchestra. It's like the music this morning. These people in the groups of Ananda music, they don't know each other. They haven't lived together forever and gone to the right schools and played their violins together and done everything together and together. No, they came to Ananda and they're seeking God. And they go deep in their meditations and they serve selflessly, and it all comes together in a beautiful, beautiful music. It's so lovely to hear you sing. And all of Ananda singing the music. It's an incredible movement that people should take heed of, this vibration that's coming through the planet right now. Too easy to look at the darkness. Turn off the radio. Turn off the internet. Turn it off. Yogananda used to say, why look at the sewer when there's beauty all around you? There's so much beauty in everybody's faces, in the smile of a child, in the flowers, in nature. In everything that we do, there's beauty. There's beauty in the conversation that you have between you and Divine Mother. Only you can have that conversation. Only you can find God. Nobody can find God for you. Nobody. It's going to be you that takes on that responsibility. And it comes from a desire to really want that once and for all. And once all of your energy is focused in that direction, you're going to find God. There's no question. You have these techniques. These are guru-given techniques. These are powerful techniques. These are imbued with grace. These techniques of meditation are very succinct and powerful. They will take you there. But not only the techniques will take you there. You need to have selflessness. You need to worry about other people. Really care about what your gift is to bring into this world. And don't be worried about the results. God will take care of those, just like Swami when he didn't even know what to do when he got out of SRF. God took care of the results. He just said yes. You just say yes to life. Yes to your spiritual life. Yes to living for God. Yes to finally being that person that you really want to be. And that you already are. You know, we already are that. You are that. Don't you know that ye too are gods? You hear all these words. It's so true. We are. Whatever we're doing, bring God into it. Ask him how to do it. Talk to him constantly. Always ask him to use you as an instrument, and he will. He doesn't have very many employees. Who's seeking God? Nobody. This is an unemployment office here. So when you step up to the plate, you're going to get the job because there's not too many people. It's true. So step up to the plate and say, God, I'm here. Use me. I can do something, anything. Plant some herbs. Work with children. Sing some songs. Just whatever you do it with the love of God. I saw a movie called, many of you have seen this movie, it's called The Song of Bernadette. Oh, it's a beautiful movie. It's a movie that was made in the 30s, and Yogananda used to watch it all the time. And Swami introduced us to this movie many years ago, and I watched it in seclusion. And the person that plays Saint Bernadette, her face is so angelic, so beautiful, radiant. I think she got a deep blessing from playing that part in the movie. But even she, in the movie, the story of Saint Bernadette, it's quite inspiring. Everybody was saying, show me a miracle, show me a miracle, show me, show me. The world is always saying, show me what you're saying is true about God, show me, show me. And so the day of the miracle, Divine Mother told her to go and dig in the dirt and wash her face with the dirt and to eat the leaves that were around and the weeds. And she ate the weeds, and the whole crowd was watching, and they were making fun of her. But when Divine Mother was talking to her, she said, go dig in the spring. There was no water. There was no water anywhere. And Bernadette turned around her and said, are you sure? You want me to dig here? Yeah, I want you to dig there. And so she did. And everybody made fun of her and called her crazy. And they all went home. And that night, the spring gushed forth water. And millions of people have been healed by that Lourdes water. Millions of people over the years. She didn't know. She just did it because she felt intuitively that Divine Mother wanted her to. It was so beautiful. We don't really know how it's all going to turn out, but we can trust that if it's from God, it will turn out. So that at the end of her life, she has this radiant look on her face, and all through her life, she joined the convent. The church authorities were coming down on her. Did you really see the Blessed Virgin? Did you really see? They would have men and bishops and monsignors and the Pope and all these pompous men coming to this poor little girl in the monastery. And she kept saying, I did see her. I did see her. I did see her. Year after year after year. Until finally at the end of her life, on the very last day of her life, they came and asked her. She said, I did see her. And in the last frame of the movie, there she is lying on her bed, and her face is radiant and filled with love. And she sat up, and she said, I don't think I'll ever see her again. I don't think I'll ever see her. She was so sad. She was so sad. And she sits up in the movie, and there Divine Mother came. And she said, I love you. I love you. It was so beautiful. And then she went into the light. And that movie was so touching because that's what it is in our life. God is waiting to come, and he's going to put us through the test that we've drawn ourselves. These karmic things, we have to take responsibility for our lives. We've drawn them. But if we give them to God, and all the way to the very last breath that we take, and we can say, I love you, God. we will be free. We will be free. I wanted to close with this saying from The Essence of Self-Realization, which is a book that Swami Kriyananda wrote about all these wonderful sayings that he took down from Yogananda during his life. And this is one of them. When will you find God? When all your desires for other things are finished. When you realize that the only thing worth having is Him. When every thought, every feeling is drenched with the love of God. Thank you. God bless you.
Still your mind if you want to pray. Send all cares far away. Sing then love's ever near. Isis comes, await the day. Isis comes, await the day. Mother comes, await the day. Send all cares far away. Sing then love's ever near. Isis comes, await the day. Isis comes.